Hi, everyone. Good evening. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Hi. Thank you very much for coming out. My name is Harith Iskander. How's everybody doing? Good? Hi. Hey, thank you so much. Before we begin, we're going to begin very, very, very soon. We are actually live already on Facebook, on YouTube. So just to let you know, but the show per se has not begun exactly. Before we begin, I would like to ask a favor. I would like to fill up this one seat. Are there anybody who came alone? Are there any losers here tonight? Like ada tak siapa-siapa yang saya tak ada kawan, tapi saya datang seorang. Is anybody who came alone who would be able to? Okay, are the two of you friends? Can I ask a favor? 3 of us. Wonderful. Yes, you are going here. You have read my mind. You are an amazing mind reader. Thank you very much. And all we need to do is fill up that seat. I don't want to break away this couple. They are very clearly breaking the 1 meter rule, which means, are you guys together? Thank God for that, because mana tahu takkan, and are you pushing him away? There is I just saw you pushing. I hope that you came together. It's okay. Tak apa. She pushes me all the time. I can understand that. I tell you what, you can push your table across and tapper. You know why? Because it's nice to see a full front row. Thank you so much for coming and placing yourself right in my point of view. Thank you. Hi. What's your name? Anna. Thank you, Anna. And these are two of your friends. And your name is? Shakina and Asmara. Is it a coincidence you all end with A? Like, did you decide before you were friends, I'm only going to friend anybody whose last name begins with A? What's your name? Tony. Nope, not good. Shakina, I'm your friend. Anna, Shakina, and Asmara. Wow. I think I'm going to make my next show about the 3 of you. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out this evening. This is officially Harith Iskander. I'm just gonna sit down here for a while and make it very casual. I'm looking around the room, and it looks like I've not seen anybody here who has come here before. So this is the Joke Factory. All of you here, who is it that this is your first time to the Joke Factory? Say hey. Well, everybody. Almost everybody. Wow. So when there was no pandemic and it was all clean, you decided not to come. But the moment there's a pandemic, you're like, let's go to the Joke Factory. Yes. Thank you so much for coming out. This is officially Harith Iskander. This is a talk show that I do. I used to do quite regularly, every twice a month before the MCO. During the MCO, I only did 2 or 3 episodes, and I did it from home, as most of us were doing stuff from home. But tonight is my first post-MCO officially Harith Iskander live in the Joke Factory. So give yourself a round of applause for coming here tonight for that first episode. We are also live on Facebook and on YouTube. And tonight is a very special episode. I'm so glad I got this special guest on the show. Someone is doing a selfie video. Hi, I just got a... Thank you. What do you call it? Photobomb, kan? Yes. Thank you so much for coming out. You know what? We're only going to be... I'm going to jump straight into it. Tonight's episode is very special for me because it's a gentleman that I've always wanted to have on the episode, and he finally found some free time when he said yes, but now he's not going to be that free after you find out who he is, and you know who it is. So without much further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause and welcome onto stage Yang Berhormat Dr. Mazli Malik to come forward right on stage. If you want to jump up, you can jump up here, but there is a step at the side there. Boleh lompat? Yeah, there you go. Terima kasih. Grab the microphone over there. Thank you. Just grab that mic. I think you might need to turn it on, or is it on? Just press that button. Thank you so much. You know, we're going to keep this very casual. So as you can see, microphone not on. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
First of all, I just got to work it out because we want to get the protocol right. Do I call you Yang Berhormat? Do I call you Dr. Mazli? Do I call you Doc? What's the story?
Call me Mazli.
Mazli. Chewa. That's what I like.
Never call me Malik.
Never?
Yeah, like most of my Western friends used to call me Malik. I told them my dad wouldn't be happy inside the grave.
Yes.
Then you keep calling his name. So
Yeah.
call me Mazli is okay.
Mazli. Yeah, because, you know, when you're overseas, like, my full name is Harith Iskander bin Musa. And in school, when I was in Australia, I went to a university in Australia. Yes, this face went to university. Don't laugh. They were like, Musa, because I was Musa, kan? Musa. I never looked at them. I said, siapa ni? Musa. But they will call me Musa. So, Mazli.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Wow. It's... this is the thing. When you became a young Berhormat, did you feel a bit janggal when people are, why be? How did that?
Initially, yes. But now, got used to it.
Yeah. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. We, of course, most of us, if not all of us, know Mazli as the former education minister, but I'm not going to talk about that just right. What I'm most fascinated with is before you became the education minister, I will admit I had no idea who you were, and I presume most of the Malaysians. Did anybody know Mazli before he became education minister? Yeah. You did? Are these your students? Are they your students? You nodded your head? How did you know Mazli? So you're a doctor and you were a fan of him before he became education minister. Kau penyanyi ke? Ada peminat? I did not. Why were you a fan before? What's your name? Sorry, Christina. Why were you a fan of Mazli before he became education minister? I want to know, really.
I've been a student of his.
You were a student of his. Tu dia. Okay. And these over here as well, students? From a forum. What? Looks like I'm the only person who didn't know you lah. Sorry about that. Okay, so, and you?
Man City, also
I was a patron of Man City, Malaysia.
Manchester City. Are you a Manchester City?
I am.
A fan, Manchester? Because you know why? You're the only one clapping. No, because I asked on Twitter, does anybody want to ask a question of Dr. Mazli? And someone asked, are you a Liverpool supporter?
No.
Not
at all.
Not at all. Because I am.
God forbid.
God forbid. Okay. That brings an end to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. No, we're just joking. All right. So, yeah, you were born in Johor?
I was.
Was born in Johor, and before you became a minister, you were a lecturer.
I was a lecturer.
Now, I asked you this question before the program began, like, how did you go from just lecturer, doctor with a few fans, to Minister of Education? Like, to me, it seems like a whirlwind. Was there a certain, in your own words, what was the process, and boom, 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 how did it happen?
Yeah, it's a very tough question.
Susah je ke?
Susah nak jawab.
Okay. Yeah, so no, I did ask you
In brief,
before.
in brief.
In brief.
Okay.
Reader's Digest version.
Yeah, okay. God destined. Thanks, God.
God destined, and it
Yeah,
happened.
it happened.
Just like that.
Just like that.
I did ask you just now, and maybe I'm going to ask this question again. Were you friends with Tun that he
Okay, no,
picked
no.
you out, or what was the story there?
No. I was never. I mean, just like I told you earlier, that before I joined politics, that would be the last choice in my career to be a politician. I was a lecturer and was also involved in many forums as a moderator. So,
Sorry, what were you a lecturer of?
I'm lecturing in politics and also in Islamic studies.
Okay.
So, but I was also moderating a lot of forums that organized by Sina Harian. I think most of our friends, they got to know me through a Sina Harian forum.
Okay.
And I think the most monumental one was the debate between Khairi Jamaluddin and Rafizi. That was in 2012 or 2011, if I'm mistaken.
What happened?
What happened then?
Like did they
Oh yeah, they did that a lot.
Okay.
So I was moderating these two.
Was it like a debate? Were they
It
at
was
each
a
other's
debate.
throats? Okay.
It was a debate, and I mean, I would say that's the best political debate ever that we ever had in Malaysia.
Can you give me a snippet? Like, what was the highlight of that? So you had Azmin Ali at that time. Was he the
No,
Selangor? Was he at that time? Was he
before
that?
before history.
And then Rafizi.
We had Rafizi and Khairi Jamaluddin.
Oh, okay, sorry, Khairi Jamaluddin.
Khairi
Sorry, my
Jamaluddin,
mistake.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep,
Yeah, and you are in the middle.
I was in the middle.
Like, hello.
Yeah.
What was the hot topic at the time? What did they
They
knock
were
about?
talking about the country economy.
Okay.
They were talking about PTPTN, which eventually I was the one who was having a lot of headache dealing with all those topics. They were talking about education, about young people, about jobs, and
Oh, wait a minute. So when you
this is where I say God destined, because
Yeah.
you have these two big figures, and
and then one day you're bigger than them. Haha. Like, hello. Did you go up to them after, like, hey, remember me? I'm the minister. Whoa. I would have done that.
Yeah.
I would have done that.
Khairi did that on his Twitter.
Did he?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Yeah. He took the picture of three of us.
Okay.
And I mean, it was both of them staring at the camera, and I was standing behind both of them, waving my hand. They said, look how life ended up with. He said, I'm nobody, and Rafizi is no longer in politics. And that guy behind us, he's a minister now.
Oh my God.
But
That
again,
is-
yeah.
That is hilarious. No, it's not.
Was it?
I'm sorry. No, it's
It
not
is,
hilarious.
it is.
It is not hilarious. I'm so sorry I said
No,
that.
it is. Yeah.
But yes, that is life. Exactly.
That's life, that's life.
Exactly. Wow. You know what? I was planning to start this program differently, but now it's just gone down a completely different road. We're going to get into some stuff right now. Before that, I just want to let the audience here know that feel free to ask or say anything. This is a very interactive show, as well as those of you watching on YouTube and Facebook, because I have the page is open right now. If you have a question that you want to ask, or you want to just make a comment, feel free to go ahead and say something, and we will bring that up. Okay, so
But I didn't answer your question.
you didn't answer. What was
Yeah.
my question? I put the
You said, was I a friend of Tun
Yes.
when he had
How-
picked me to become the Minister of Education?
Yeah.
No, I was never.
How did you end up? Number one, being picked to join the party, or you joined the party
Yeah.
voluntarily, and the next step, we'll ask the next step. So how did you end up with Tun?
Yeah. I think I moderated 5 of Tone's event. But even then, he never thought I would become, I would become a politician, and I would go to into politics.
Was it ever on your radar at the time when you were a lecturer and moderating all these political debates? Did you think at the back of your head, oh, I could do that?
That would be number 5, number 6, number 7 in my
On the
wish
list,
list.
okay.
Yeah. But again, I think the situation then was very crucial. 2017, 2018, when the country really calling for change and people all over the nation really want to be part of this new history of Malaysia. So I thought that, I mean, if I continue to do what I'm doing and I'm not being part of this great wave of the people, I would be so selfish. So I have to, forget my career and jump into this new territory, new water for myself in March 2018.
Did you throw your hat into the ring, or did someone approach you and say, would you like to join?
Yeah, I was approached by Dr. Harith Iskander, who's now the chair of MDEC. He did invite me, and I said, let me discuss with my family, let me do some prayers and ask guidance from God. And, it was very interesting. It's God's call. I mean, most of my evangelist friend would always say that it's God's call, but that's what I would say. I mean,
you felt something,
I felt something.
that's how you would interpret it, and you
yeah.
said yes.
Yeah, I said yes, and all my family, without any hesitation, saying that I should do something for the nation. So I said, okay, why not give it a try, and let's see what God has prepared for me, and maybe that's the best way of how I could serve the nation. The rest is history.
Okay, wait. So it's one thing being invited to join the political party, and then, wow, you win the election. Your party wins the election. That moment, like, hey, you're the education minister. How do you get to that?
Yeah, that is very interesting.
Okay.
Just after I won the election, the very first thing came into my mind is to solve the water problem of my constituency, Semparangam. Any of you coming from Semparangam?
Jauh sangat good.
You're the only one, my staff.
Yes.
One of my officers is
Okay.
from Semparangam. But Semparangam has been living with this water problem since 10 years ago,
Okay.
where we have this landfill, the landfill, which is very near to the water catchment. So every time when it's raining, all the waste will flow into the river,
Okay.
and will pollute the river, the water catchment. So you have the high level of ammonia. So there was a joke about Semparangam. Whenever there's raining, there's no water in Semparangam. Whenever it's not raining, there's water. So I promised the constituents, they said, you vote for me, I'm going to settle this problem once and for all.
Can I ask, did you settle it?
Yes.
Okay, phew.
Last year.
Cik, baik. Saya tanya soalan yang betul. Mana tahu?
You know what we did?
What?
We closed down the landfill. Yeah, that's the only way.
That's the only way.
Yeah, it took me every month to go to the landfill, to go to KPKT, to go to SW Corp, to go here and there, just to make sure the landfill will be closed down and the water will not be polluted anymore.
This is before you became education minister, or while you were education minister?
The night when they declared that I've won my...
You went straight to work?
Yeah.
Tak ada kerja lain ke?
Tak ada kerja lah. No.
Ya Allah, relax. Baliklah dulu, lepak kejap, have a sirah bandung, like, hey, I won.
You
But
know,
no,
Riz, what
You
happened?
went to work.
You know what happened? When it's raining, there's no water in Semparangam, kan?
Okay.
For the very first week, whenever it's raining, I've got butterfly in my stomach. Literally. Jadi sakit perut. Sebab I know that my constituents will be having water problem. So that's what we did for the last how many months. And eventually now, Semparangam, whenever it's raining, they have water and clean water.
Okay.
But again, that was the first week.
Yeah, first week.
The second week, it was very interesting. My daughter is there. I still remember that very evening, I brought my mom to the clinic. You know lah, bila aging people, sakit gini. I went to the clinic and we came back during Maghrib, man. During Maghrib, and then all my children were shouting at me, "Hey, you are the education minister, you are the education minister." I said, "What? I mean, are you joking or are you
Oh,
trying
you
to-"
didn't know?
I didn't know.
What?
I did not even know. I was never been informed. So they said,
So they
"No."
told your family first?
No, it was on the screen, the TV screen.
Or they
It
tell
was on
the world
news.
first before they tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
So, and then I saw my name appear on the telly.
Wait a minute. So, are you seriously telling me prior to that there wasn't like
No.
okay, here's what's going to happen tomorrow.
Nothing.
Tapi you act surprised. You just
No, nothing. I never ever expecting that, and then never dreamt of being one.
Okay, so you come home, your kids are going, "You're the education minister!" And what are you, like, what's going through your head?
Gobsmack.
Oh my gosh. Just like, okay. I wouldn't even know where to begin. Where did you begin
To tell a story of-
That's how old we are. These three ladies with the A at the end have no idea of what song we're talking about. Even the young. Really, you don't know? Where do I begin
story.
to tell the story of the truth that love can be?
C-E-E-C-C-E-E-C. Yeah, there's a chord.
I'm sorry, I think our audience very young. Langsung tak tahu lagu apa. All of them have
That's
got this
terrible.
blank look on their face.
It's terrible. It makes us
See,
feel.
those of us who are 35,
I'm 25.
around that
by the way.
time.
Yeah.
Google love story later on, Ali McGraw, you'll work it out. Okay, so back to the story. So you like literally became education minister without even knowing. And then
was a
what?
surreal
No, seriously, I
moment.
want to know. And then what? Like what goes through your mind?
What went into my mind said that, okay, now another bigger challenge coming in front of me. I have to settle the water problem of my constituency, and now it's a nation problem, And not only that, it is about the future generation of Malaysia. So all this while, when I was teaching in the university, I always make jokes with my students. I told them that when I'm becoming the education minister, I mean, it was a joke. Lecturers like to make a lot of jokes, like most of your lecturers. I never thought that jokes became a reality.
So you would say, when I become education minister, I'm going to do this and I would do that. And then suddenly it's like, oh no, I got to do it.
You're right.
Not so easy, huh?
Harith, I was teaching them politics, and I still remember one of my students, I think she's from Indonesia. She asked me a very direct question saying that, okay, if you're Minister of Education, what would you like to do? So I said, I would like people to learn about love. I would like people to teach about love, and I would like people to love each other. I think that's the main purpose of education. So,
Oh, sorry, my wife just shouted out at the back of the stage, "That's true!" Yeah.
so I was,
Sayang, relax, sayang. Because you know what, tonight, I'm going to hear it. You hear what he said about love? Did you hear what he said about love? Okay. So, I'm going to, let's get serious for a moment. So that's your basis of education is basis, groundwork, foundation, love.
love, and that's why even during the early days, I came into my office, I declared that, okay, from now on, our education system will be based on three main values: love, happiness, and mutual respect.
Wow. Oh, okay. So, yeah, I love what you're saying, but I'm also practical enough to realize that's very idealistic. Imagine walking into a government department who've been there for 20 years. All right, everybody, today it's all about love. Okay, I can see in your eyes, you're loving it already. And they're like, apa lah orang ni cakap ni? Siapa ni? Apa dia cakap ni? Love ni. No, but seriously, how do you? So you walk in with three.
Because that particular officer doesn't really understand love.
Whoa. Dr. Phil, continue. You don't understand love. Asman, what's going on in your life? No, but yeah, seriously.
I mean, this is an anecdote. I'm not really sure whether it applies to everybody, but John Lennon, when he was 5.
Okay, hold on. I have to explain to the young people. Okay, young people, John Lennon was in a group called the Beatles. She has a confused look on her face. I'm not even joking. She's not even joking. Hi, sorry, what was your name? Rainy. Do you know who John Lennon is? We have a lot of work to do, Doctor. John Lennon was in a group called the Beatles. I'm going to enjoy this.
Please don't confuse him with John Legend.
Do you know who the Beatles are, Rennie? The Beatles. Yeah, singer. Sing. Oh, yeah, with hair like that. Dang, 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 dang. No, okay, never mind.
I wanna hold your hand.
I wanna hold your hand. And when I touch. Okay, so John Lennon, continue.
That's Liverpool, madam.
Yeah, I know. Yes, of course.
Okay, so John Lennon, he shared an anecdote, a famous anecdote, saying that when he was 5, when his teacher was asking the whole class, what would you like to be when you grow up? So some say they want to become a teacher, doctor, engineer, this and that. So when the teacher came to him, what did he answer?
What did he answer?
What did he answer? I want to be happy.
Oh.
He said,
so,
I want to be happy. So the teacher
and the
said,
teacher must have slapped him. That would have been the normal teacher reaction.
Yeah.
You want to be cikgu? Saya nak jadi cikgu. Bagus. Saya nak jadi polis. Bagus. Saya nak happy. That would have been no. I'm just imagining like if a Malaysian teacher was there. Apa happy ni? Aku tak happy, kau tak happy.
So, and then the teacher said, you don't understand the question. You know what did he reply? This 5 years old John Lennon? You don't understand life.
Whoa. Rennie, after the show, Google John Lennon. You'll be surprised. Okay. None of this. Dua Lipa and all that. Okay.
And talking about happiness, it was not new. It didn't start with John Lennon. Even since, we have a philosopher here. Even Plato talked about happiness. Aristotle talked about happiness. And most of philosophers talk about happiness. And education, if it's not bringing happiness in one's heart, in one's life, what is education all about? If education does not teach about love, it would be disastrous. And if education does not teach you to mutually respecting each other, it's not a true education. The true education is to humanize human being.
I thought education was whether maths or science is in Malay or English. That's what.
You know the worst part among the politicians? They said, education is all about black shoes. I said,
okay, let's talk about that. You brought it up. I was not going to bring it up. I was thinking, no, I better not ask him about that. No, but seriously, I will spend 2 minutes about that. I do remember when that whole issue exploded. So I'm old enough to know how journalists work, how the media works, where you can say 20 things, 19 of which really are passionate, and then you say one thing just say one, and everybody jumps on that. Now, when I read the explosion of black shoe, white shoe, I was thinking to myself, I bet you he was talking about a lot of other things, but they've decided to pick on that. How did that become a thing? Those of you who don't know, it was a whole issue about you were deciding whether, or you made a statement about whether to, school kids should wear black shoes or white shoes, and it went off into a whole different tangent. What happened?
Just like you mentioned, it's media. And the worst part is when politics come into it, and, the rest is history. Yeah.
Because I guess nobody taught you, or nobody had time to guide you. You know what? When you become a politician, is not necessarily about what you say, it's about what the media or people choose to take away from what you say. And that is an education in itself, which I think you learned
I
very
learned-
quickly.
Yeah, yes. It was baptism of fire, just like you mentioned.
Yeah, baptism of fire.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Now let's go back to this love.
Oh,
I love. Now I got to admit something. We've just met today, just before the show, and in that brief conversation, you were already talking about that. I want to ask your daughter. Your daughter is over there. Sorry, what was your name again? Saiba. Did I pronounce it correctly? Bapak memang macam ni ke? Love kat rumah ke? Or is this the thing that he just says when the cameras are on? Daripada kecil, okay, pretend he's not here, he's not listening, okay? Dia memang daripada dulu pasal love, John Lennon. Betul ke? Seriously?
She's a big fan of John Lennon too.
My goodness.
Yeah, she is.
Really? Learn. So is this really the Bapak that you know, not the education minister? It is? She's nodding her head. Okay, I need to ask that because sometimes it is a bit strange, especially for someone like myself, to see you on the media and get the brickbats and get the adulation. Tiba-tiba duduk sini cakap pasal John Lennon and love. And all you need is love. So you are that type of person, and you wanted to introduce this into the education ministry. What were you thinking? Like that. It sounds to me. I love the idea, but it sounds like a massive task. What did you tell me? Like in that short time that you were allowed to try and put this in, what were you facing ahead of you?
No, actually, the very first thing came into my mind when I was given the office is to build a new civilization for Malaysians because we deserve better. The country deserves better. It's only how do we make ourselves to become better, and how do we shape our future? It's very unfortunate that we have done a lot of things. Some of them are still in the pipelines, and politics hijack everything.
That's almost unavoidable, though, isn't it? I mean, from someone who's my age, and you see how politics hijacks everything. You may have a great idea, but politics is, in my words, it's a train track. There is a system at play, and we are going down this system. Now, you may have a great idea, or you may be a great train driver who wants to go this way, but you're on some tracks. How do you change the direction of those tracks? And I'm sure you have tried before. I mean, maybe can you give me an example of a radical idea that you wanted to instill that, and what were the blockages or the resistance that you face?
Sometime when okay, that's a very good question. I mean, I realized that if you want any changes to happen in education, you must start with the teachers.
Okay.
Quality of teachers, quality of teaching, and quality of the contents that they are teaching. So you must acknowledge the teachers first. You must appreciate the teachers first, and you must, bring the teachers back to the right track as educators, not only as somebody who receive a monthly salary and just teaching our children to score A in the examination.
But that's what school was all about, as far as I remember. It was like, how many A you got? How many B you got? Why you all from blue became red? Because in my time, they used to mark the A, B, C, D in blue and the F in red.
Yeah.
But how do you, when you have this idea and you say this to everyone, what happens?
The teachers love it because they started to realize the sense of purpose in their life. I mean, they started to realize that they are very important. Just like I told you earlier that whenever I'm meeting with the teachers, I would tell them that the future of our country is in their hands. In front of them a bunch of kids, but they are the future, leaders, the future ministers, the future engineers, doctors, professors. But if they don't educate them to become an accountable, professors with integrity, doctors with quality, they would end up becoming a corrupted professor, corrupted ministers, and doctors who would be siphoning monies, who would be, doing all those bad things, criminals. I said, so it's very pertinent. Their role is very important. So it doesn't matter whether they're teaching Bahasa Melayu ke, they are teaching PE ke, or they are teaching mathematics, they're all equally important for the country. So this is where, normally, I will tell the teachers that, their responsibility is to unleash the potential of every individual, of every children. Because I believe that every single individual, they're very special. They're very special. You must not put everybody in the same basket for them. Okay, you must be professionals, you must be doctors, whatever. No, not everybody can excel in academic. Our kids,
Yeah.
some of them,
Yes, I agree. Where were you when I was in school?
yeah.
I tried to tell my teacher all the time, cikgu, semua ni A plus B plus, saya tak tahu, saya bodoh, saya boleh buat joke. nak joke tak? Nak joke. And I got slapped.
Oh,
No, but you have a point. You have a point. I agree. Not everyone can excel in academics.
this is where I keep telling them, first and foremost, we abolish examination for year 1 to year 3 as a beginning. And eventually we're trying to abolish examinations for year 1 to year 6.
From standard 1 to standard...
Yeah, from
Did you,
standard
how,
one
how
to
far
standard
did you get? You got, so standard 1 to standard 3, no exam?
Yeah. Now there's no exam.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Sorry, say again?
It's like in Japan.
It's like in Japan?
Because, actually, they will teach the children to learn on ethics first. Ethics and also moral values. And then only they teach the children to score in education.
So I'm just going to repeat this for the audience who are watching. So in Japan, what is highlighted in the education system at that early age is ethic and values. And then later on,
They introduce modules and education and knowledge into the education system.
and then they introduce other different types of knowledge into the education
That's,
system.
yeah.
And
That's
one
what
more?
education is all about.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. And then one more, I
One
just
more?
want to add that I think I am very thankful to you. It's because I'm a mother of 2, and I am very happy because I don't have to wash my children's shoes every week because it's strict already. And that makes me happy and my children also happy.
Oh, so you're very thankful to Dr. Masli that you don't have to wash your children's shoes every day because now they're wearing black shoes.
Yes, and they are happy.
And they're happy?
They can keep on running.
They can keep on running around the
and
mud.
I school them every day.
You don't have to scold them every day, just scold them every twice a week. Just like
Every week once.
every week once. Just like I have a Wednesday, 6 o'clock, kena marah. Keep it.
Harith, in Finland, even if any teachers or any schools doing examination for those at primary school, that would be considered as crime.
So if a teacher suddenly puts an exam on a kid,
Ended up in the
they
prison.
end up in jail.
Ended up in jail. Yeah. Because you know why?
Why?
Because you're going to demotivate the children with examinations at the very young age. You just imagine children at the age of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, looking at the examination paper with the red marks, 0 or whatever, looking at the grade EF, it will demotivate them. It will kill their potential. The one that were given E, they might be in the future be a good footballer. They might be a good comedian. They might be, a professional driver.
So what he's saying, I got E lah.
Yeah, no. No. Well, what I mean
You're not wrong. I'm just saying you're not wrong.
Well, what I mean is, if they continue doing that, you ended up of killing the potential of every children. So this is why I told the teachers, please appreciate your children, appreciate your students, unleash their potential.
You do realize when you do this, there's a whole bunch of Chinese parents going, what? We got no exam, how come? Tuition. More exam. How I know you go or not? If you know exam, how I know?
Harith, one good news, in Singapore, the Education Minister of Singapore was dare enough to abolish examination from year 1 to year 6. So when you have a kiasu, the so-called kiasu land,
So they did it after seeing what you did. Is that what
I
you're
think,
saying?
I'm not sure who started first.
Not sure, around-
but ended up last year.
Malaysia, we started first. Malaysia.
Malaysia boleh. But last year, 2019, not in Malaysia, not in Singapore, the children from year 1 to year 3 are having examination.
Oh,
Tapi kita sampai year 3 lah, dia sampai year 6.
Oh wow. Okay. So, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here.
Please do, please
you're
do,
so you're sitting here and you're going, oh, you're damaging the potential of the child by telling them, they're not that good.
Yeah.
Not everyone is that good. Let's face it. I mean, there are some people who will not. You can say to someone, "You can be anything you want." I get the intention, but not everyone can be. I cannot be the best footballer in the world. I may grow up. I do remember when I was very young, I wanted to be a great footballer. And I would train. I would wake up in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, run with the football and all. And I always made my school class team. And I wore jersey number 12. There were 11 players who got on the field. I was the first reserve. No matter how hard I tried. I would train at 5:30 in the morning, number 12. I never got on the first team because I just didn't have that natural ability. So I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing, but I do realize that not everyone is going to make it. I get the intention.
But at least you tried.
At least I tried, yes.
At least you tried.
Yeah.
That's very important. The result. I mean, the process to
You
reach
tried.
the result. The process, the journey is important. The journey itself is the result. Whether you achieve it or not, it's not important. The most important, you give the utmost best of your effort, of yourself, to achieve something, to achieve your goal. And look where you are now.
I'm going to cry. No, I am with you on this side of the camp. However, okay, I will tell you something though. I hear now in school, macam school sports day and all of it, they don't give first, second, third, gold, silver, bronze anymore. Everyone gets a medal. I'm not so sure. Is this true for the younger generation? I'm of the old school skit. No, you must give medal. You got fourth place. Too bad. Try again. Like you can't give everyone a medal. You can't give someone who came eighth a medal in a race that had 8 people. To me, I'm a little bit old school in that sense. I believe you need to have failure in life just to realize, okay, I can do better. If you give someone a medal for coming last, you're saying, you did good enough. So I don't know, that's just me. I'm just of that generation. But I love what you're saying in terms of, yes, the damaging potential, because in school, I was not a good student academically, but I knew I was smart. I somehow knew I was smart, although my grades told everybody that I was stupid. I did. I had really not very average grades. But I just knew, I think because of my parents, I kind of knew. But I do get it, that there are some people. I had one of my classmates, Wong Chong Wai, all the way up to Form 3. He made it up to Form 3, still couldn't read or write to that extent. But he made it up to Form 3. And he was called stupid and all the normal things in school, and kids are vicious to each other. But I was buddies with him because I knew this kid was smart in other ways. He went home after school and he worked at his father's roadside stall, tengah malam, and he was, even at that age I knew he doesn't have it easy, but he's not stupid. He can't read or write, fine, but he's not stupid. Yeah. But I couldn't communicate with him in that way when we were 15, but I just knew inside. But he got hell from the teachers and the other kids as well. So I know what you're saying. How long were you education minister?
20 months.
20 months or 28 months?
20 months.
20 months. I mean,
approximately 20 months. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So what was your goal? What was your vision if given the time and the allowed to, did you set a couple of big goals?
Yes.
What was it?
I mean, to humanize the education system in this country.
Okay, let's face it, you're battling a lot of things. You're battling the racial and religious divides, not just in education, everywhere else.
True. This is where, I still remember when we introduced few policies, for example, there's zero reject policies. It was meant for all Malaysian citizens.
What is zero reject policy?
Okay,
sorry?
zero reject policies is about
accepting all Malaysians to come to school, all children to come to school, whether they are documented or non-documented, number one, or number two, whether they are able or they are disabled. So this is where, because of this policy, we have a lot of undocumented citizens, undocumented children being allowed to come to school, and the school will help them to get the documents.
Or you managed to get it through?
Yeah,
Okay.
number one. And number two, for the disabled children with special abilities, or we call them disabilities, they managed to come to school and not being rejected. So with that policies, it was meant for all races, for all ethnicities, without differentiating whether you are Bumi or non-Bumi, whether you are whatever. But unfortunately, along my way, a lot of people from different groups putting in front of them their communal interest before national interest. It was very sad. Okay, the examination, the abolishment of examination from year 1 to year 3, which eventually we are heading for year 6, it was meant for everybody. It goes beyond ethnicities, beyond communal agenda. But again, the one that came to me is about that Jawi card or whatever. They said I introduced. I did not introduce. It was there since 2012. Somebody else introduced it, and it was there, and I was asked to abolish it, and I cannot abolish it because, you know, again, because of identity politics, because it's part of our, you know, heritage or whatnot. It was there, it's nothing new. But again, there are certain groups of people in Malaysia who would like to put their communal interest before everything. And that's the biggest challenge.
Okay. No, I do understand that is a challenge. Communal interest to yourself. Once again, talk about the train tracks. That's almost become, or it is the system.
Yeah.
It's a system from the fact that the moment you see a borang, you have those 4 boxes. What race are you? Malay, Chinese, Indian, other. You know, it's already ingrained.
But education should surpass that, should go beyond that. That is why when we were discussing before we started this program, I told you, I mean, you did mention about civic education or civic subject that we used to have, and it was very boring. I'm reintroducing.
Civic is around the time of John Lennon. I just want to mention that.
I mean, during our years, we used to have a subject, pendidikan, civic, tata rakyat.
Not the cat, not the civic cat. This is like civics. Almost civics is a different thing.
Okay, so, but now, I mean, when I came into my office, when I came into the ministry, there was none. I learned there was no subject called pendidikan civic anymore. So what we did, beginning from last year, June last year, we started to introduce civic education across the subjects, number one, and also it should be inculcated in co-curriculum and extracurriculum activities. We must make sure that every week new values will be introduced to the children in the assembly and also in the activities. For example, we learned that respect the elders. So in the assembly, they will be taught about respecting elders and activities. They should go back home and respect the elders, or going to old folks' house and whatnot. And for example, the following week, they are learning about preserving the environment. They should recycle, So not only it is being taught in the assembly, they're being taught in the subjects, but also they must practice inside the classroom and outside the classroom. They do the campaign and whatnot. So every week they'll be learning new values to make to produce a civilized citizens of Malaysians. So the ultimate goal of education then is to produce a more civilized Malaysians. But unfortunately, political event hijack everything.
Well, so now I remember June, that time you're talking about. Patutlah a lot of people coming up to me, apa khabar uncle? Because they were respecting the elder lah. I was like, kenapa tiba-tiba budak-budak semua apa khabar saya? But
Is that true?
No, of course not. But you know what I find fascinating about all of this? when you talk about education, everything that you have been talking about has got nothing to do with what I think education is, which is grades, which is passing your exams, which is learning science, geography, maths, whatnot. You're talking about values. Now, I'm actually way on your camp in this. Like, I get it about values, I get it, and that is definitely something that I feel is missing or not highlighted.
And you know what we miss most?
What?
Reading and learning. This is what we tried to introduce since 2018, Malaysia Membaca.
Okay.
I mean,
See the excitement on my face?
we should encourage Malaysians to read. Reading. Why is that face?
No, I'm not just joking. I know. Yeah, go on. I get it. I get it. I totally understand about reading. Only reason is because I know I don't read enough. That's the. I'm just feeling guilty right now.
And we put the aim by 2030, we're going to become a reading nation.
Okay, what does that mean? Seriously, what does that mean?
Okay. In developed country, people are reading from 40 to 50 books per year. And in Malaysia, during our last census, we only read 15 books, the most, per year. And
I didn't fill out that form. It would have dropped down to 3. Or maybe 2. But I'm glad I didn't fill out that form.
Seriously.
So you were planning to bring
Reading
that number up.
to be the way of life of all Malaysians.
Okay, let me check this out. Hi, sorry, what was your name again? Shakida. Shakina. Other than, okay, how many books do you read a year?
It dropped down because of uni.
It dropped down because of uni. Started with the excuses already.
Maybe
5? Okay. Sir, you were the...
No, you don't ask him.
Don't ask him, he reads too many books, is it?
Yeah.
Sir, in the white shirt behind you? Less than 10? How many books do you read?
none.
None. Less than 10, 5, none. Anybody read 20 books a year and over? Not your daughter, yes. Of course, your daughter would put her hand up. I get that. You had a tough job ahead of you. I mean, this was Malaysia right now. Yeah, I'm sitting.
That's why
I'm sitting with you. I'm sitting with you. 0. I'm on.
That's
that.
why we start with the schools and with the students first.
Yeah.
And that's why we're aiming for 2030.
Okay. Okay.
So the new
Now-
generation that we hope will change the whole lifestyle of the nation.
Okay. You know what? I didn't mean to get so heavy so fast. I just want to check. Anybody here? Anybody would like to ask a question or say something to add to the conversation, including those of you who are watching on YouTube and Facebook? Yes, sir. What's your name?
Lukman.
Lukman. And what would you like to ask or say?
I want to ask Dr. Mazli, is it him encourage the parents to filter out the book, normally based on their understanding or the morals to avoid the children becoming very open and still preserve their values? Is encourage them?
The content.
The content? No, it's a globalized world. It's a globalized world. When one thing, the one that you could guide them is you guide them with values. So with values, with certain measurement that you equip them with, they know how to differentiate what is good and what is bad. But I'm really against the idea of, okay, you put sanction on books that you can read and you cannot. Because by doing that, you're killing the potential of, the ability of students, of the children to explore beyond their ability.
Okay. So when I was young, during John Lennon's time, those days, I do know that there were things that I learned in history and stuff which now are not highlighted. And now we have a different view of history. Now, I'm not going to say, oh, that history was better than history. But history is written by those who are in control and in power.
Yep.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not in school now. Anybody has kids in Sekolah Kebangsaan? I think the history they learn now is, much closer to the 70s and 80s and 90s history of Malaysia. Whereas, I was learning Parameswara and, the Portuguese and the
still
trade.
remember is we did learn about European history.
And we learned about European history. We had World War
Yeah,
II.
yeah.
And we learned so much stuff that I thought, what the hell are they learning this for? I knew how much gandum was in Argentina in geography and how much rainfall in Peru between January and March. So the older people are all nodding right here. I was like, but I look back on it now and I'm like, yes, okay, so I get it. I knew, because I tell you what, and this is not just a Malaysian thing, I've met Americans who growing up, Americans my age only knew Asia was Philippines and Vietnam because they had a war there and they had an army base there. Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia was not on their radar because they grew up learning everything about America. But I was like, I know gandum in Argentina, I know what is the menenun in Bolivia, as a kid, that's what we learned.
And jute in Bangladesh.
Yes, yes, and the rainfall in Bangladesh and the floods that they have there.
Yes, true.
So, but here's the thing now, when you talk about values and all, how do you, I don't know whether your very idealistic dream is possible. I love it. I love the idea of teaching values and love and care and all that. Can you?
Why not?
Why
This
not?
is what being practiced in Japan, in Finland, in most of those developed countries who are scoring a very high score in education ranking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but once again, the train tracks, how do you dismantle the mentality, the system that has gone back at least until the 80s?
Harith, we are lucky now. Among the younger parents, they're more exposed to what's happening outside Malaysia, and they are more open. And trust me, they are the one who keep giving support to whatever we're trying to do.
Okay,
Just like Dr. Nadia.
okay. You're a parent, both of you? I'm presuming you're the husband. I'm not making any assumptions. I have no judgment call here. How old are your kids?
Standard 2 and Standard 3.
Standard 2 and?
Standard 3.
Standard 3. That is a typical Malaysian answer. They don't tell you the age. How old are your children? Form 1, Standard 7, 5, and Standard 3. Umur tak tahu tau. Tapi standard tahu, So Standard 2 and Standard 3. And sorry? Yeah, no, but here's the thing though. You obviously are a fan of Dr. Mazli and his thoughts, his points of view. But you must also experience right now, do your kids, what kind of school do they go to?
They are going to government school.
You go to government school. You must experience firsthand what your idealistic thoughts of what happens in Japan, etc., and Dr. Mazli's thoughts, that there is a resistance within that system. How do you handle it? I'm interested to know, actually.
Okay.
You may please speak. She checked with the husband. May I? Husband was like, you always do. I'm just joking.
So actually, before this, I am quite reluctant because me and our groups of friends, like Dr. Mazli said, we are actually very open because a lot of my friends sending their children to international schools because they actually introduce into ethicals and morals first in education, then only they teach examinations, then they will introduce examinations in international schools. But because I want to teach my children to actually mingle around together, to have open mind and accept all societies, because international students always being associated with like high socioeconomic status, as we can see like that.
Living the excluded bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But I want to teach my children to accept everyone, to be open about everyone, and to learn from everyone. That is in government school because their shift is maybe morning, right? Then in the evening, I will teach them on that ethical part, the moral part. That is the job of the parents.
Go on. You want?
So came back to your question, right? You said you asked me how do I incorporate between the Japanese thinking, which is developed country, and also our country, developing country. So we are still not quite there yet because we as I can say that we are in a communist thinking because we
I will censor that part, don't worry.
because we are taught to not think for ourselves. We are taught to always follow through what the policymakers have introduced to us, not being the one who actually be the change, to actually do the change. So that's what Japanese wants Japanese currently introduce. They instill the moral first, so that the children can be disciplined, can think for themselves. Then only they instill the module part, the knowledge part.
Okay, wow. Was not expecting such a long answer.
Harith, we are blessed with social media nowadays.
Yeah.
Most of the parents, they got exposed, and whatever the conservative or the conventional mindset they have will be debated. The least in their Facebook for the boomers, and for the
Yeah, Facebook for old people nowadays. I mean.
for the X and Y generation, that at least they have a lot of other mediums to discuss, to challenge their mindset. And for the boomers, we are lucky we have Facebook and WhatsApp at least.
Yeah.
They begin to talk, and this is where I think the change should start somewhere. So it's going to be radical, it's going to be challenged, it's going to be rejected initially, but it should start somewhere.
Have you got TikTok?
No, I'm thinking of doing it, but my daughter advised me not to.
Kenapa pula? No, Tony is on TikTok. But no, okay. I hope everyone who's watching on Facebook could hear what you were saying. I totally get what you're saying. From my personal point of view, I've got 3 kids. I went to Sekolah Kebangsaan. Here, I'm gonna admit this on live. I wanted to send my kids to Sekolah Kebangsaan. Here's why I didn't. Only because, very simple reason. I went back to the school that I used to go to, which was St. John's Institution. And when I was in school, Cikgu, Mrs. Kang, and Dennis Doss, and Cikgu Ismail, it was a big mix of teachers and all. I went back to the school, 10, 12, 8 years ago, and met up with the teachers and all. And the very simple reason, I looked at all the teachers. Let's say there were 30 teachers. Out of the 30 teachers, 28 were Malay. Out of the 28 that were Malay, 26 were female, and out of the 26 that were female Malay, all were wearing a headscarf and tudung. So I'm like, okay, cool. But here, I do realize as a child, you go to school, you're there from Monday to Friday. You are there for 5 to 6 to 7 hours a day, including going to school and having after-school activities. A large chunk of your life is spent at school. Then I looked at all the kids. Unlike my day, now the kids who go to that school, in my day, you kind of went to schools. There were no what they call suburb schools or whatever. You went to school everywhere. You could go to school. So from when I went to school, there was guys from Puchong and Cheras, Subang and all. But now all the kids in that school all came from one area and predominantly came from one race. So not there was anything wrong with that, but to my point of view, I want my child to, when they spend that 5 days in school in those hours, to have a wider range of knowledge and information. And I'm not saying that I'm, I guess I'm a little bit elitist. But I really want them to go to government school because of those reasons. Because you learn the chops in government school. Like you can pukul, can whack, and you got to stand up for yourself. But it's like I kind of wish it was different. And I'm speaking for myself here. I'm not saying that it's good or bad. It's just like, I just wish it was slightly different. I wish we had a wider scope of
you're not alone. Trust me.
Yeah.
This is where when we try to, or when we initiated few things, we have in our mind that this change, and Rome was not built in a day. So it will take time, but eventually we will reach that. We will reach there. We will reach the destination. But again, I know what you're trying to tell, but you're not alone. Most of the parents outside there, they're having the same thinking. They say that, okay, now for them, the sekolah kebangsaan is no longer sekolah kebangsaan that they used to live with and that they aspire to be. But that was the challenge I was trying to do. And luckily, we are blessed with all these new technologies, all this social media and whatnot. And the change is possible. But unfortunately, you know,
Well, a change.
it was only 20 months.
It was only 20 months.
Yeah.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close it off to that note. I just want to ask: is there anyone who'd like to add to this? Would like to ask something? Like to say something? Because I think we've had an amazing. Oh, great, fantastic. Yes, sir.
Ya Muhammad, you have made a lot of changes, very big one. So leaders' decision often clouded with ambition.
A leader's decision is often clouded by ambition. Carry on.
So in between that, political interaction will jump in your decision. So how do you face it? How do you make it happen?
And who's your advisor?
Who's behind you?
I'm lucky that we are living, just like I mentioned many times, we are blessed with technology. So the teachers all around Malaysia, they are my advisors. Normally, whatever policy we want to do, whatever decision we want to make, we make sure that we engage as much as possible with teachers' associations, with teachers' unions, with teachers' representatives, because they know best. They know best about education. The same goes when we are dealing with universities. We try to engage as much as possible with the academics, the students, because they know best for themselves. So this is where I think the best word is engagement. The key word is engagement. You must engage as wide as possible with the most stakeholders, because stakeholders, they know what is best for themselves. Yeah.
Because she agree with the black shoes. But I
She-
don't.
Oh, so one agrees with black shoes, one doesn't.
I want to buy Bata, but the kid asked Adidas.
Oh, yeah. Bata rocks, my friend. Adidas maha gila, bro. Sir, you wanted to ask something as well.
I just want to ask something maybe, but this question is more about politics, but can I ask? So how does it feel to join a new party beside 2M?
Okay, so the question there was, how does it feel to get now into a new party? And you were with the older new party, but now with the new party.
No.
Okay.
It's an honor for me to serve with a prime minister who has proven, who has delivered, and he has been acknowledged by the whole world. It's an honor for me to work with him, along him, on his side.
That is, I think, what a wonderful way to end this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for Dr. Masli. Yes, we were supposed to have Vivinoa Mosibin also on the show. Most of you will know her. I don't know whether you did see the
Where is
viral
she?
video. Yeah, so what happened was she's still having trouble getting Wi-Fi. She was meant to be live on the show, but the timing levels didn't quite hit. But she does through WhatsApp much earlier on. She sends her apologies, but we will definitely have her on the show
She has been
because in
accept-
East Malaysia, she was supposed to be coming live from East Malaysia. Tapi in terms of the timing, Tuesday night, Tuesday evening, tak boleh panjat pokok.
I thought she has been accepted to UMS. No.
No, I'm not
yet.
so sure about that right now, but she did send her apologies. But we will definitely have her show on again. Guys, thank you so much for watching on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for coming here this evening. Thank you very much.
I thank you.
Dr.
Thank you.
Masli. No,
Thanks,
thank you so much. Sorry, Masli.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure.
You're the first guest, and I'm glad I had this opportunity. I feel like I know you a little bit more personally now, and I think this might take my point of view, regardless of which political area or divide you are on. I think at least I can totally agree on. Education is not just about the marks, it is about the values. And regardless of what political party you're with, if that is what you're proposing, then I'm going to be on your side on that.
Thank you, Harith.
So
Thank
it's as simple as that. So thank you again. All of you have come here today. We're gonna close this part of the evening, especially to those of you watching on Facebook and YouTube. But do stick around, because right after this, just for you as a little bit of a surprise, we have got some stand-up comedy to perform here on stage. Would you like to watch some stand-up comedy?
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to take a quick, very short 10-minute break. Thank you so much for watching on Facebook and YouTube. We're gonna stop the streaming right now, but do stick around. You can order another drink. The restaurant is still open, and I think we would be more than glad to personally meet up and talk to your questions, have your questions, and talk to you as well. And we're going to be back with some stand-up comedy right after this. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum. We'll be back for those of you in the Joke Factory in 10 minutes' time. Thank you.
Thank you.